looking at a quick view of these hormones. From the posterior pituitary, ADH, oxytocin. Anterior, growth hormone, thyroid stimulating, adrenocorticotropic, lipotropins, endorphins, melanocyte stimulating, luteinizing, follicle stimulating, and prolactin. Now, it's giving you the structure, like if it's a peptide bond, if it's a glycoprotein. Do you guys remember glycoproteins? The sugar and a protein connected together, okay? A small peptide, once again, if you see peptide, this is telling you that it's amino acids because it's the peptide bond that we find amino acid to amino acid to amino acid to amino acid. Protein, that means it's got the structure, okay? Secondary, tertiary structure to it. Giving you the target tissues. Antidiuretic, pretty specific. It's going to target the tissues of the kidneys. Oxytocin, the uterus and the mammary glands, and I got to go back and look up all this stuff that they're now talking about, calling it the cuddle hormone, okay? Growth hormone, the majority of the tissues of the body. Now that stimulating hormone, it's only going to go and act on the thyroid gland itself, but the production of the thyroid gland is going to be thyroid hormones, and those hormones go on to affect other tissues of the body. They come directly from the thyroid gland. The adrenals, fat tissues, the endorphins, once again, something we don't know the full, the full cycle and everything of. Melanocytes, ovaries, testes, FSH. This is what term I was looking for. Y'all should have told me that term. I couldn't remember that term. Okay, I should have remembered that term, but I couldn't remember that term. Follicles in the ovaries, the seminiferous tubules, what I was calling the coil tubules. Well, they're coiled. Okay, I just couldn't think of seminiferous. The ovaries and the mammaries, ovaries and the mammary for the prolactin. So, how y'all like hormones so far? Gotta admit they're kind of cool, all right?
They play mean tricks on people.
They do. They are not a lot of fun, are they? For something to go wrong with one of these, oh, man. So now, let's look at some of these other glands that are in the endocrine system and their productions, okay? This begins on page 640 of your textbook. What does this look like to y'all?
The eye.
Looks like my eyeball.
What does what look like?
So, looks like they're trying to show me my eye. Some light rays. If the light rays come in, they're trying to show me some pathways for my neurons. Then they're showing me some areas of the brain, and they're giving me some of these other neurons that are being affected. Pineal gland. Heard of it? Never heard of it?
Not until we did the brain thing.
Very, very interesting gland. It's going to be in an area called the epithalamus. Do you all remember when we were studying the structures? And one thing we had was the epithalamus. So if we come over here and we've got our little hypothalamus right here, and we've got the little pituitary gland, okay, swinging down. And epi, if we move towards the back, okay, the epithalamus, all right, is going to be found, the pineal gland is going to be found in the epithalamus. The hormone, I'm pretty sure you've probably heard of. Melatonin. Okay? What do we normally associate with melatonin?
Sleep.
Sleep. Okay? We normally think about sleep. We can't sleep, get some melatonin, right? Now, looking at what's taking place, okay? This pineal gland, the light entering the eye. If light enters the eye, it's going to inhibit the release of melatonin. It's the darkness that promotes the release of the melatonin, which I think sometimes we have that backwards. Okay? So light entering the eye actually inhibits melatonin from the pineal gland.
And it's the darkness that stimulates it?
Yes. The dark actually stimulates the release of the melatonin. Now, the hormones, melatonin, and I don't know a whole lot about this arginine one, okay, because melatonin is the one that's been most studied, all right? But their hormone, this hormone, okay, it actually goes on to have an action on the hypothalamus, and get this, the gonads.
Wait, it has it on, this says from the hypothalamus.
Well, it goes on, the production of the melatonin goes on to this action with the hypothalamus. And then it has an effect on the gonads. Just doesn't seem like the two should connect, but they do. So when we look at this, okay, let's try to follow what they're showing us here, okay? So they're telling me light entering the eye stimulates the neurons on my retina, okay? From there, we go on and get our action potentials. They're kind of showing me this taking place, okay? Action potentials, they're going to be sent to the hypothalamus, trying to show us our little region right here, okay? The action potentials from the hypothalamus. Now note, they're showing me a neuron right here. They're showing me a synapse and a neuron. Is everybody following me? Okay, so now that action potential, they're transmitted through that sympathetic division. Remember the ganglia, the sympathetic chain ganglia? Okay, from the sympathetic chain ganglia, we're going to have it act on the pineal gland. So everybody see how they're showing the synapses that are taking place. Okay, so a decrease in light, the darkness, increases that sympathetic stimulation. That's going to affect the pineal gland, and we get an increase in the melatonin. An increase in light decreases sympathetic stimulation, and that'll decrease the melatonin. Now, here's what melatonin does. When melatonin is secreted, it can stop or inhibit gonadotropin releasing hormone. What did we just say? Gonadotropin releasing hormone acted on which two hormones? Luteinizing hormone and follicle stimulating. So it will inhibit LH and FSH. It'll have an action on that. And that was for production of what?
The egg.
The egg and the sperm. The other thing about the melatonin, it might help regulate sleep cycles by enhancing the tendency to sleep.
So I know someone who gives melatonin a lot, I think, to her children, and I mentioned it to a friend who's a pediatrician, and she was like, that is a horrible thing to do in young people to help them sleep. That is not what you want to be giving them. And I'm wondering if it's because it stops their kind of reproduction stuff. I mean, I didn't know, this was a while ago, and I didn't understand why she said that.
But if your body doesn't need it, doesn't it do the opposite? Because I have people who take it that actually wakes them up versus puts them to sleep, and their doctor said that it was because their body was producing enough, so they didn't actually need it.
I would imagine if you're older and y'all still young, okay, you get to look forward to not sleeping as much. You want to sleep, but you just don't, okay? You're up no matter what. That's what you get to look forward to. So I'd imagine if you're older, if you take it too much, good, and you know, okay, you might just stay awake more. I would imagine younger, just my opinion, I just don't think it would be very good.
So I take it after work, like when I have to go to sleep, because I get off at 11 and I don't get home till like 11:15. So I take it when I get in my car so I can be sleepy when I get home. Is that bad?
Do you take it on a regular basis?
Every other weekend, like every other Sunday, usually.
But not every day.
No, not every day.
No.
Is that fine? I'm scared.
No, I would say you were taking it every day, but occasionally, I don't think it's.
What would be the risk of taking it every day?
Someone her age, it could have, I would imagine, begin to affect like her periods and her ovulation and stuff like that. Yeah.
And then about the light, you said when there's light, it's not produced, like
It's produced in darkness.
it's produced.
Yes. So long as light is coming in, like right now, we're not producing it. Okay? But night, it's dark, go to sleep. Okay?
I've noticed, cause I got like this new light thing that I use for like my photography, and then there was one night that I set it up for like a photo shoot thing, and then I forgot to like turn it off, and it was really bright in my room.
And you didn't sleep.
I didn't sleep, and I liked it. I was like, I could steady. So like that's what I do now. So yesterday I wanted to steady, so I just put it on, and I was sleepy, and then I started getting awake. And I stayed later to like 3 a.m.
You basically used light therapy.
I was like, oh
There's
my
actually
God.
a thing called light therapy, because people who don't get enough light, okay, it actually leads to stuff like depression and sleeping and that sort of thing. And especially like, well, not so much this time of the year, but during the winter months and everything, people tend to suffer from it highly. So you actually affected your photo period. So that's what you experienced. Now, what they're